Welcome to Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Mendte. Election Day is November 5th, and we have your preview. We will begin with an interview with Doug Steinhardt, the chair of the Republican Party in New Jersey. Also, there's one New Jersey Senate election, a special election in South Jersey. We'll check in with the campaigns. A whole new group was inducted into the New Jersey Hall of Fame. We'll talk to some of the inductees, and we'll have nor'easter Nick's winter forecast. But first, our interview with Doug Steinhardt, the chair of the Republican Party in New Jersey, about the upcoming election. Thank you for being here.
Thank you as always. My pleasure.
Why such a low turnout for this election, historically?
I think historically speaking, you're not electing a governor. You're not electing a president. The main two turnouts. You're not electing another statewide office. Everything's compartmentalized. So it's district by district, and turnout tends to run district by district.
Now, do the parties like that or not like that? I mean, I know the answer should be as many voters that get out, the better. But a lot of times, parties can control elections more if there's a lower turnout.
Well, look, I mean, I think from a practical perspective, we all, to your point, want to see as many people come out as possible. I don't know that it particularly favors one side or another. Obviously, in a state where we're outnumbered as we are to the Democrats, we want to push as many folks out to the polls as we can. So in a situation like this, I tend to think that it does favor our Republicans. So we're being as active as we can on the grassroots, trying to get as many folks out to the polls on the 5th as possible.
That's a great point. I mean, when it's going to be a low turnout, and it might be 20%, even less than that, if you can get your side out, you can win elections with a turnout that low, even if you're in the minority.
Absolutely. Case in point, just locally in my own home county, we're on a heavy vote by mail chase in the most contested town that we have in Phillipsburg, a mayor's race. But we're going to get darn close to 90% probably vote by mail returns, because we're doing nothing but chasing vote by mail ballots, to make sure that those votes come in, because they're just votes in the bank.
Let's talk about the election coming up. Let's talk about the different races. There's only one New Jersey Senate election that is down south. It's being held. It's because Jeff Andrew is now in Congress. It was left open. He has Bob Andrzejczak in there, who is a Democrat. It's a Republican district. You're running Mike Testa against him. Is there polling on that race right now? How close is it?
Yeah, it's a very close race. I mean, there's a great path for Mike Testa to victory. Mike is a friend. He's a fantastic candidate. He's a family guy. As you said, it's a Republican district. It's a district that voted for the president. It's a district that voted for Bob Hugin, for Kim Guadagno. It is the only Republican trending district in the entire state where we don't control the legislative seats. So, we're spending a lot of time, money, and effort and energy to make sure that we get that seat back.
And it sounds like Testa has outraised Andrzejczak by a significant amount of money, but there's some fear that some last-minute money will come in for Andrzejczak.
And we're getting down to the wire. I mean, you get to that point where that last-minute spend doesn't make that big of a difference. Mike is really working hard. He's out every day. I talk to him almost every day, and he's built a lot of energy around his campaign.
I heard from some analysts that money's not being spent on this election like assembly elections in the past, and their belief is the 2020 election is so important, people are holding their powder for 2020. Is that the case?
Well, look, I mean, in a state where the Democrats control every branch of government, we get outspent. I know that. We're aware of it. We have to adjust and campaign accordingly. And you're still seeing dollars. There are independent expenditure committees that are popping along and dropping money in. Governor announced through his new direction that he was spending $2 million, making a $2 million buy the last 2 weeks. When you don't have anything else to offer by way of substance or leadership, you got to buy votes.
Let's get to some of the assembly elections. I want to start with John Bramnick, who is the minority leader in the assembly. I keep reading that he may be in trouble. Is he?
Look, John is a longtime servant in that district. I think he's doing well. He continues to poll well, but he's working hard. They've targeted John. If you're a Democrat, you want to target the minority leader. I think they've done that. But John has done well fundraising. He got a big boost from the operating engineers a day ago. He's out on knocking on doors and talking to people and continuing to do what he's done for a long time. I think John will be okay.
It's been recent that Monmouth County went to the Democrats. Is there a chance the Republicans can take it back?
Absolutely. I mean, look, they've had a great ground game here in Monmouth County, too. We swung Salem County a year ago, where we think we're going to retain control of it again this year. For us, it's a question of picking pockets, focusing our resources on those pockets, those little spheres of influence, and trying to take things back a town at a time, a county at a time, a district at a time. And that's a great way to kind of muster a ground game.
As you look at these districts, it's sort of like looking at a chessboard, right? I mean, you're looking at it, and no matter what happens, you may not agree with this, but I think most would, that no matter what happens, the Democrats will still hold a majority in the assembly. We're talking about 2 to 4 seats maybe swinging one way or the other. So if you win District 1, let's say you win District 1, and you pick up 1 to 2 seats in the assembly, that's a big victory, right?
That would be a great day.
That would be that, and is that what you're looking for? Would that be success?
Look, I think all of us weigh success differently, Larry, and I'm not trying to be obtuse. I mean, the reality is we're focusing on a handful of races. We want to make sure that we protect our leader. We're looking at 25, where Tony Bucco is, the 8, where Gene Stansfield and Ryan Peters are running. We focused on LD1 with Mike Testa. Any of those, any combination of those help reinforce the work that we've been doing over the last couple of years.
Because I'm not feeling it. Are you feeling any kind of energy whatsoever for this race? I guess what I'm asking is, if you can get people in your party somehow excited about this election, if you can create a passion, if you can get them to understand that this is important, that can win elections.
Absolutely.
But it doesn't seem like it's happening on either side.
Well, I respectfully disagree, at least from our side. I mean, I've watched where we've come as a party just in the 2 years that I've been doing this. When I became chairman of the state party, believe it or not, 2 years ago, the NJGOP had 64 active donors. That was it. 64. Fast forward 2 years, we've grown that number to over 2,600. 80% of those are actually low dollar donors, folks that are writing a $25 check or a $50 check because something that we've said or done resonates with them. And 34%, well over 750 of those, are actually new to the Republican Party in 2019. So despite the tough cycle that we had a year ago, we have Republicans coming back into the organization because something that we're doing is exciting them.
In the national elections, everything seems to be about Trump. Trump's name dominates everything. In these assembly elections, how much is Murphy an issue?
Murphy's a huge issue, and we're making him the central focus of everything. You have a governor that's so aloof and politically indifferent that he'd make a statement that if tax rate's your issue, this state's not for you. Look, we lead the state in a laundry list, the country, in a laundry list of worsts. Highest tax rate, highest business tax rate, corporate tax rate, second highest corporate tax rate, highest foreclosure rate, highest out-migration of businesses and residents. We have 1 in 4 families in New Jersey going hungry, and you have a governor who tells them to eat cake.
We'll continue the conversation and talk about 2020 because there are several first-term Democrats that should be vulnerable.
Absolutely.
Coming up in a year. So let's talk about that when we come back, when we continue our conversation with Doug Steinhardt, chairman of the New Jersey Republican Committee, when Jersey Matters continues right after this.